Thank you very much for staying tuned. We've been talking about avalanches all morning long. Kaitlyn Merriman has joined us from Walking Mountains. Thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to talk a little bit about, we've been telling people don't go. Don't go, it's dangerous back there, bad snowpack, that sort of thing. But we're going to talk about the science behind. First, let's talk about what that series is.
Sure. So Walking Mountain Science Center puts on a monthly series called The Science Behind, where we take an in-depth look at the science behind everyday topics. So we have local experts come in and talk about and share their information. So this month, we are going to be talking about the science behind avalanches with Kelly and Creston Rohrig, two locals that teach a lot of classes. They're both certified as Avalanche 1 teachers.
Very nice. Okay. And what will this talk be about? Will it be about beacons and shovels and probes? Will it be about snowpack? Will it be about digging? What are we doing?
We're going to look sort of deeper into our snowpack and talk about why our snowpack is so important and what specifics there are when you're looking at your snowpack to determine what's going to happen that winter. So, depending on where you are in the country, depending on where you are in the time of year, and depending on just the local climate and temperature and weather is going to depend on what kind of snow you're experiencing. So I wanted to quiz you to see if you can come up with as many types of snow or as many names to describe snow as you can.
Well, we've got fluffy. No, just kidding.
Yeah,
so
sure,
let's talk about
that.
surface hoar, depth hoar.
Sure.
So, and we can explain those. And so depth hoar is what we're worried about now because that lowest layer of snow is pretty weak. And then we've got all this big snowpack with some wind on it, and then we had some rain. Now we've got some mid-level depth hoar. I mean, that's where I go, is those kind of crystals and that sort of thing. Give me some more.
Yeah, that's great, actually. You know quite a bit about our snowpack. And when we have that depth hoar forming, it means that the crystals are not able to bond with each other. They're not forming rounds, they're forming facets.
Okay.
And when those facets can't bond, you have what's called a persistent weak layer. And that's what, in Colorado especially, we deal with. And actually, it's pretty timely because January is the most avalanche-prone month out of the year, and Colorado is the most prone state for avalanches in the country. So this is one of the most dangerous places you could be right now as far as avalanches here in the high country. And so this month, we want to talk about, if you're interested in perhaps taking your Avalanche 1 certification, maybe at CMC, they have those classes. We have a little 2-hour class tomorrow night starting at 6:30 so that you can have an introduction to the science of snow and the science of our snowpack and what that means for avalanches.
Okay.
And then we also want to talk about safety because if you're going to be traveling in the backcountry, you need the training and the equipment, but you also need the education on how to look for those trigger points and be able to avoid avalanche terrain. Especially this time of year.
Well, and you need the ability to say no.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
The thing. Is everyone's charge. You need somebody to say, you know what? No.
Group dynamics is a whole nother science that we could get into that we'll probably touch on tomorrow night about, different types of pressure, peer pressure, wanting to, prove yourself to your friends, and that's even if the snowpack is relatively safe, that's a whole nother kind of danger that you get into.
So tell me again, tomorrow night, 6:30, 2-hour class.
Yep.
Can anybody come?
Anybody can come.
Okay.
Registration is preferred, so we know how many people. You can register on our website. And we have beer from Vail Brewing Company being donated.
Nice.
So everyone there will get to enjoy an adult beverage as well.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for teaching us a little bit. Thank you for teaching the viewer as well. For more information, 970-827-9725, 970-827-9725, or go to walkingmountains.org. Again, 6:30 tomorrow night, 2-hour session. Learn about our snowpack. Don't go anywhere. Speaking of snowpack, we've got Mark Sassy up next.